Classification with the letter dataset. In this lesson, we will solve a classification problem using the letter dataset from OpenML. This problem matters because automatic recognition of handwritten or scanned characters can help in digitizing documents. You will learn to load, explore, visualize, and classify this real-world dataset using Python tools. By the end, you will understand the full workflow from data to predictions and practice important debugging and best practices. Running the cell now. Let us import the Python packages and set our random seed before starting the project. Import NumPy for numerical operations. Import pandas to handle tabular data. Import matplotlib for plotting charts. Import seaborn for prettier plots. Import fetch_OpenML to load the letter dataset. Import train_test_split to split the data into training and test sets. Import standard scaler to scale our numeric data. Import classification_report, confusion_matrix, and accuracy_score for evaluating models. Import logistic regression for building a linear classifier. Import random forest classifier for building an ensemble model. Import kneighbors classifier for a neighborhood-based classifier. Import warnings library to manage warning messages. Turn off warnings for cleaner output. Set C to 42 for reproducibility so our results can be replicated. Running the cell now. Practice. Can you think of another dataset where classification could be useful? Try naming one before moving on. Tip: if you ever see lots of warning messages, disabling them with warnings.filter warnings, ignore, can make things easier to read. Understanding the letter dataset. The letter dataset contains images of handwritten capital letters from A to Z. There are 20,000 samples, each with 16 numeric features. There are no categorical features and no missing values. The target variable's class A represents the letter, with 26 possible values. Beginners often forget to check class balance and feature types in a dataset. Always check these before modeling. Running the cell now. Let us load the data and take a look at its shape and the first few records. Load the letter dataset directly from OpenML. Convert the loaded dataset into a pandas data frame. Print out the shape, rows and columns of the dataset. Display the first few rows to get a quick look at the data. Running the cell now. This output shows the dataset contains 20,000 samples and 17 columns, 16 feature columns plus the target class. The preview confirms all features are numeric and there is a categorical target with letters AZ. Noticing the shape and feature types here ensures we're working with a clean, well-structured dataset before building models. Practice: how many columns are there in total? Which column is the target? Look for the target variable and count the number of features. Before modeling, let us verify data types and check for any missing values. Print the data types of each column to check if they are numeric or object. Show how many columns have each data type, numeric, object, etc. Print the number of missing values in each column to make sure the data is complete. Show the missing values count for each column. Running the cell now. This output confirms that all 16 feature columns are numeric, int 64, and the target column class is categorical, which aligns with the dataset description. Importantly, there are 0 missing values across all columns, ensuring the data is clean and ready for modeling. Checking feature types and missing data early helps avoid errors and guides appropriate pre-processing steps. Practice: why is it important to check for missing values and data types before modeling? If you found missing values, how would you handle them? Discuss with a peer or write your answer in a comment. Let us check whether the target classes are balanced or not by viewing their frequency distribution. Print how often each target class appears in the dataset. Display each letter's relative frequency as a proportion of the whole dataset. Running the cell now. This output shows the normalized counts for each letter class in the letter dataset, revealing a fairly balanced distribution with each letter representing about 3.6% to 4.1% of the samples. Noticing this balance is important because it means the model won't be biased toward any particular letter class, aligning with the lesson's emphasis on checking class balance before modeling. Practice: is the dataset balanced? Which class is the most common? Which one is least common? Balance affects which evaluation metrics to use in classification. Visualizing class distribution helps spot imbalance or bias. Let us plot how many samples there are for each letter. Create a larger figure to fit all letter classes. Draw a count plot showing how many examples exist for each letter class, sorted alphabetically. Set the plot title to summarize what is being displayed. Label the x-axis, letter class. Label the y-axis, instance count. Adjust spacing to prevent label overlap on the plot. Show the plot to visualize class distribution. Running the cell now. This bar chart shows the class distribution of handwritten letters in the dataset, confirming all 26 letters AZ are represented. Notice the roughly equal heights of the bars, indicating a balanced dataset, which is important to avoid biased models. This visualization reinforces the lesson's point to always check class balance before proceeding with modeling. Try: which letter surprised you by its frequency? Write your answer or share with a classmate. If classes were highly imbalanced, what problems could that create for classifiers? Let us display summary statistics to spot issues like features on widely different scales. Show basic statistics, mean, STD, minute, max, quartiles, for all numeric features. Running the cell now. This output shows the summary statistics for each numeric feature in the letter dataset, including counts, means, standard deviations, and value ranges. Notice that all features have 20,000 non-missing values, confirming no missing data, and their distributions vary, with some features like Xbox ranging from 0 to 15. This step is crucial for beginners to verify data completeness and understand the scale and spread of features before building models. Practice: which feature seems to have the largest range? Which one varies the least? Take note of this before scaling features in future cells. Checking feature correlation helps avoid redundancy. Let us visualize feature relationships with a heat map. Calculate the correlation matrix for all features except the target. Set the figure size for the heat map. Draw the heat map to visualize how features are related to each other. Add a title describing what the heat map shows. Display the plot to look for patterns. Running the cell now. This heat map visualizes the correlation matrix of the 16 numeric features in the letter dataset, excluding the target class. Notice the range and patterns of correlations, which help identify if any features are strongly related or redundant, key for feature selection before modeling. Understanding these relationships supports building more effective and efficient predictive models. Practice: are there features that are highly correlated? What might you do if there are redundant features? Removing highly correlated features can sometimes improve classification results. Now, let us split the data into features and target, and split into training and testing sets. Separate features and target column. Assign the target column to Y. Split data into training and testing sets, making sure to stratify so all classes are represented equally. Print the shape of the training set. Print the shape of the test set. Running the cell now. This output shows the dataset split into training and test sets, with 16,000 samples for training and 4,000 for testing, each having 16 numeric features. The consistent feature count confirms no columns were lost, and the stratified split ensures that all 26 letter classes remain proportionally represented in both sets. This step is crucial for building a reliable model and evaluating its performance fairly. Important: always stratify target labels when classes are imbalanced or there are many classes. Try changing the test underscore size and see how split sizes change. Features are on different scales, so let us scale them before training classifiers. Create a standard scalar object to normalize features. Fit the scalar to the training data and transform it. Use the already fitted scalar to transform the test data. Print confirmation that scaling is done. Running the cell now. This output confirms that the numerical features of the letter dataset have been standardized, which is crucial for many machine learning algorithms to perform well. Notice that scaling preserves the data structure while ensuring all features contribute equally. This step follows our initial exploration and prepares the data for effective modeling. Practice: why do we fit the scalar on the training data only? What could go wrong if you used all data? Fitting on training only prevents data leakage and keeps test results realistic. Let us build our first classifier with logistic regression and see how well it works. Create a logistic regression classifier, increase max iterations for convergence. Fit the classifier to the scaled training data. Predict test set classes with a trained model. Compute accuracy score on the test set. Print the accuracy result for logistic regression. Running the cell now. This output shows that the logistic regression model achieved about 77% accuracy on the letter dataset. Given the 26 possible letter classes, this indicates the model is reasonably effective at distinguishing between handwritten letters. It reinforces the importance of examining dataset structure and preparing features well, as done here with scaled inputs, before modeling. Try this. Can you guess if logistic regression would perform better or worse than tree-based models for this dataset? Test your hypothesis in later steps. Now let us try an ensemble method, training a random forest classifier and checking its accuracy. Create a random forest classifier using 100 trees and set the random seed. Fit the random forest to the scaled training data. Predict the test set labels with the trained random forest. Compute the accuracy for the random forest predictions. Print out the result for this model. Running the cell now. Here, the random forest model achieves a high accuracy of about 96.5% on the test set, indicating it effectively captures patterns in the 16 numeric features to classify the 26 letter classes. This confirms that after verifying feature types and class balance, applying a robust classifier like random forest can yield strong predictive performance on this handwritten letter dataset. Practice: what are some benefits and drawbacks of random forests compared to logistic regression? Discuss or write down one advantage and one disadvantage for ensemble models. Now let us try a non-parametric classifier, k-nearest neighbors. Create a k-nearest neighbors classifier with 5 neighbors. Fit the KNN classifier on the scaled training data. Predict classes for the test set using KNN. Calculate the test set accuracy for KNN. Print the result for the KNN classifier. Running the cell now. The output shows that the k-nearest neighbors model achieved an accuracy of about 95% on the test set, indicating strong predictive performance on the handwritten letter dataset. This result highlights that after properly scaling features and selecting k equals 5 neighbors, the model can effectively distinguish among 26 letter classes. It reinforces the importance of pre-processing and evaluating classification accuracy when working with multi-class datasets like this one. Explore: try changing n_neighbors and rerunning this cell. How does performance change? Is KNN slower or faster than logistic regression for large datasets? Why? Comparing classifier accuracy. We have now trained 3 different classifiers: logistic regression, random forest, and k-nearest neighbors. Each one has benefits and drawbacks. Sometimes a simple model can perform surprisingly well, but try several to find the best fit. Running the cell now. Let us visualize the accuracy of each classifier so we can easily compare their performance. Store model names and their accuracies in a dictionary. Set a suitable figure size for the bar plot. Plot a bar chart comparing all model accuracies side by side and set distinct bar colors. Give the plot a title describing what is being compared. Label the y-axis as accuracy. Set minimum and maximum limits for the accuracy axis to focus the plot. Show the comparison plot. Running the cell now. This bar chart compares the accuracy of the three classifiers we trained: logistic regression, random forest, and k-nearest neighbors. Notice the variation in their performance, with some models reaching closer to perfect accuracy than others, highlighting that while complex models can excel, simpler ones like logistic regression may still provide strong results. This visual helps us quickly identify which classifier fits our data best. Try which classifier works best for our dataset. Think about why that might be. If the differences are small, consider more advanced metrics or cross-validation. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more data science content. Let us dig deeper by viewing the classification report for the best performing model, random forest. Print a message showing which model will be evaluated in more detail. Display precision, recall, and F1 score for each class in the test set as predicted by the random forest. Running the cell now. This classification report shows detailed precision, recall, and F1 scores for each class predicted by the random forest model, with support indicating class sample counts in the test set. Notice that most classes achieve high scores close to or above 0.90, reflecting strong overall performance and balanced predictions across labels. This output helps us compare the random forest's accuracy and robustness against the other classifiers, highlighting its suitability or any classes where it might underperform. Practice: which letters had the lowest precision or recall? Why do you think they were harder to classify? Checking class-level errors can give insights into model strengths and weaknesses. Confusion matrices show exactly where the model is making mistakes. Let us visualize prediction errors. Generate a confusion matrix for the random forest classifier for all letter classes. Create a figure large enough to see all details clearly. Visualize the confusion matrix as a heat map for readability. Set a plot title describing what is shown. Label the x-axis as predicted labels. Label the y-axis as true labels. Show the confusion matrix to spot common errors. Running the cell now. This confusion matrix visualizes the random forest classifier's performance across all classes, showing how many true instances were correctly predicted versus misclassified. Notice the diagonal cells generally have higher counts, indicating strong accuracy for those classes, while off-diagonal values reveal where the model confuses one class for another. This helps us compare the strengths and weaknesses of the random forest relative to other classifiers we've trained. Try: are the most errors off by one letter in the alphabet? Do certain letters get mixed up? Discuss with others. Looking at misclassifications helps guide if data cleaning or new features could help. To understand errors, let us look at a few specific misclassifications and examine their feature values. Identify the indices of the first 5 misclassified test samples. For each index, print out the real class, predicted class, and the feature values for that instance. Running the cell now. Here, we inspect the first few instances where the random forest classifier made incorrect predictions, showing the true and predicted labels along with their feature values. Notice how the predicted classes differ from the real ones, highlighting specific cases where the model struggles. This helps us understand the kinds of errors made, which is crucial for comparing model performance and deciding if a simpler or alternative classifier might be more suitable. Practice: try to find a misclassified example that is especially confusing. Does it have feature value similar to the predicted letter? Such investigations can inspire targeted data investigation. Let us practice error handling by adding a try-except block around support vector classifier model fit. Start a try-except block for error handling. Try importing support vector classifier, SVC, from Sklern. Initialize an SVC with random seed. Fit the SVC on the scaled training data. Predict test classes using the SVC model. Print the accuracy for SVC predictions. If there was an error anywhere above, catch and print it. Show the error message to help debug. Running the cell now. The output shows that the support vector classifier, SVC, achieved an accuracy of about 94.4% on the test set, which is a strong performance compared to our previous models. This reinforces the lesson's point that testing multiple classifiers, including both simple and more complex ones, helps us identify the best model for our problem. Notice how even though SVC is a different approach, its accuracy aligns well with the expectation of finding a good fit through experimentation. If an error occurred, read the message carefully. Is it about convergence, memory, or something else? Try modifying model parameters or data size to avoid common errors in large datasets. A common pattern is to shuffle data before cross-validation. Let us see how to do it and display results. Import a utility to shuffle the data frame rows. Shuffle the rows using the same random seed. Print a message indicating dataset was shuffled. Display the new order of the first 5 rows. Running the cell now. Here, we shuffled the dataset to randomize the order of samples, which helps ensure our model training and evaluation aren't biased by the original ordering. Notice the varied values across key features like xbox, width, and onpix, and the diverse classes shown. This mix is crucial for fair training and comparing classifier accuracy reliably. Tip: setting random_state ensures that shuffling is reproducible. Can you try shuffling without setting the seed? What happens to your results next time you run it? Sampling random rows is handy for quick inspection or prototype experiments. Randomly sample 5 rows from the dataset using fixed seed. Print those sampled rows. Running the cell now. Here we're inspecting a random sample of 5 rows from our dataset to understand the features used by the classifiers. Notice the variety in feature values like xbox and width, and how each row is labeled with a class letter, which the models aim to predict. This step helps us ground our accuracy comparisons in the actual data characteristics the classifiers are analyzing. Try, what happens if you sample with another random_state? Run this cell again with a different value. Sampling like this is useful for experiment reproducibility. Mini end-to-end workflow. Let us do a quick run-through, load, scale, train random forest, and make a prediction for a new example. This demonstrates a real task from start to finish. Running the cell now. Here is a minimal, end-to-end version, from loading data to making a prediction for a single sample. Number 1, the required imports for this workflow. Import data loader. Import random forest classifier. Import feature scaler. Import numpy for numerical operations. Set the random seed to 42 for reproducibility. Number 2, load the dataset from OpenML. Assign the fetched dataset to a data frame. Number 3, optionally take a random subset, e.g., 1000 rows, for faster training. Extract features by dropping the target column class. Extract target labels from the class column. Number 4, fit the scaler and the classifier. Fit the standard scaler on the subset features. Apply the scalar transformation to the subset features. Train the random forest classifier on the scaled features and targets. Number 5, make a prediction for the first row as unseen input. Select the first row of features as new input. Scale the new input using the fitted scaler. Predict the class label for the new input. Print the predicted letter for the first data row. Running the cell now. Here, the code completes a full workflow by loading letter recognition data, scaling features, training a random forest model, and making a prediction for the first sample in the subset. The output shows the predicted class K for this initial example, illustrating how the model can generalize from scaled inputs to correctly classify new data. This confirms that each step, from pre-processing to prediction, is working together in this end-to-end process. Challenge: Try making a prediction for another row or your own synthetic input. Do this long exercise again but use a different classifier, like KNN, for practice. Best practices and lessons learned. Always check data types, missing values, and class balance before modeling. Scale features if your model is sensitive to feature range. Stratify splits when dealing with many classes. Compare multiple models and look at errors, not just accuracy. Shuffle data for fair splits and reproducibility. Pay attention to random_seed for reproducible experiments. Debug and inspect mistakes, they are the best teachers. Running the cell now. End of lesson reflection, which best practice did you find most surprising or new? For more lessons, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and share your thoughts in the comments.